Greetings, everyone. Another Stargods vlog. Hope you're doing well. I'm just munching on a little bit of chocolate. It's not dripping, is it?
Yeah.
So, up front, I just want to say that I'm not going to be working with YouTube. Those days are kind of gummed up, and I can't handle the censorship. You know, you can't say anything. And right now, I'm being very, very um, upfront with choosing my words. Yeah, I got to be very, very careful. It's like when you're on YouTube, It's like walking through a field of landmines. Okay, it's like a field of land. One wrong step, you're gone. Your history. So I'm not dealing with YouTube anymore. Uh, Go to my mm, dang good. Um, Go to my backup sites that are listed in the links, and there you'll find BitChute, UGE, and I can never remember the name. Anyway, it's terrible. Rumble. See how long that took? Bloody chemtrails. And so UGE, I just uploaded a recent video to UGE. It was down for a while, so there's a. But if you want to know what I've been doing, uh, what I've been up to, I want to check out the new videos. UGE hasn't uploaded them. They had a glitch for so about. I think I did four videos that didn't make it up there. But if you want a complete list, go to BitChute or go to Rumble. Yeah, I got that right, Mama. Rumble. Damn you, chemtrails. So I want to talk about Elvis. Elvis. Um, Elvis was very creative beyond belief. Had talent beyond belief. Okay, let's go really right back to. I want to illustrate that he could be cloned, or there's another option that I'll get into. He was being born, and he was born with his twin brother. Now, I don't know if it was an identical twin or not, but he had a twin brother named Jesse. And so Jesse came out, but had the umbilical cord wrapped around his head. So when he came out, he choked to death. I don't believe that. I think there was a lot of shenanigans going on with the doctor. I looked it up. It's extremely rare that that happens. Extremely rare, if it ever happens at all. I don't know if it happens at all, but very suspicious. Now, Elvis Presley's grandparents were kissing cousins, so they married, and that smacks of the Nephilim bloodline. This smacks of Illuminati. There's some kind of funny business happening. So that indicates that to me. And then the twin dies under very weird circumstances. I think the baby came out and the doctor just went, and that was the end of that. Um, Now, if I'm correct there, and some really weird monkey business is going on, then I have to assume that they had a plan for Elvis. Um, but then I ask myself, how would they know how talented Elvis would be? Um, I don't know. That's a gray area, as they say. So you have Elvis now. He's he's just an ordinary kind of guy, but he's got an incredible mountain of true talent that you never see today. Today it's just shove it up y'all. That's all you get today. So those days of talent are gone. They're finished, sadly. Um, okay, line up here. So Elvis became very, very famous and very, very quickly, and that he made it big time. Now he gets out. Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, the swindler himself, took 50% of everything Elvis owned. Uh, he just decided that Elvis should be on TV. So he gets on TV, and, Perry Como, boom, da da dee, boom, what you do to me, boom, what you do to me. Yeah, that's a song I can barely remember. Hot diggity, dog diggity, boom, what you do to me. And all that's the music of the day. It was just old people's music. Well, you're old. Yeah, but I grew up in a different generation. Mwah. Beautiful. So, yeah, you got Perry Como and Pat Boone and all these wishy-washies, eh? Hot diggity, dog diggity, boom, what you do to me. And now, Elvis Presley, and he comes out, well, get out of that kitchen and ride those pots. He's just going nuts. He looks like he got his finger caught in an electric outlet. Now, this is a very conformed society at the time. Very, very religious. Very, very religious. And when they saw him for the first time, it was a shock beyond belief. They could not believe what they were saying. Elvis looked like a hood from some gang. Back then, people had crew cuts. He had this long, long, slicked back hair, and he comes out with his long. He looked like a hood from a gang. He looked like a gang member, and his long sideburns. People were shocked, and for the religious right, the churchgoers, the born agains, the evangelists, they would have freaked, and they did freak, and they put pressure. They put an incredible amount of pressure on, radio stations, and the radio stations started going, "Oh, we don't need this pressure." So they had to. You've seen that famous monologue here at WKVY or whatever. Rock and roll has got to go, and they smashed the albums. It was considered a threat. Who spearheaded rock and roll? It was Elvis Presley. He's the one who spearheaded rock and roll. And so now everybody was freaked out because what he was doing was he was producing a new sound, rock and roll. He was kicking the door down for rock and roll. That's why he's the king of rock and roll. But at the same time, he did a lot of black music. He grew up with the blues. He had the biggest, most greatest influences on him. Oh, he grew up with the blues, and so he jumped it up, and then it was called hillbilly rock or maybe rhythm and blues. If you wanted to hide, the idea of something being rock and roll, if you were listening to it, you just say, "Oh yeah, that's rhythm and blues." Oh, okay, that's fine. But now you needed these players to come aboard like Pat Boone and all that to mellow it out. It was kick ass. It was kick the door down. And oh, this is a big subject. This is a big subject. So, and it's sunny out. Oh. So he kicked the door down for rock and roll, but then they decided rock and roll's got to go because it's, quote, jungle music full of voodoo beats and all this. The church came heavy down on this new rock and roll. They didn't come down on Elvis Presley as much as they came down on what he represented, and that was the new wave of rock and roll. Rock and roll has got to go. Smash. That's what it was all about. So they decided at a very early stage, the religious right, the born again evangelists, and all that, decided he had to go. Why did he have to go? Because he was bringing in jungle music, Nigger music, according to their lips. Um, and it was a threat. Oh, yeah, I should be listening to Beethoven. You know, you should. That jazz wasn't even accepted that well. But anyways, rock and roll had to go. And so what was happening was the kids were listening to the radio, and that was introducing them to real, wow, whoa. And you had a lot of black influence now coming in. Now on TV, you were starting to see a lot of black people. One of them was Little Richard. That guy was TNT. That must have blown their heads off. They must have went crazy. Get him off the air. They must have just went nuts. That damn stupid. You know what I mean? They must have been absolutely berserk. That guy was a guided missile. He was amazing. And for this black guy to be on TV singing like some kind of tribe member, oh, they would go nuts. So out comes Pat Boone, a wop wop baloo, a womp bam boom, tutti frutti, trying to dilute rock and roll. There was a major effort. Put your head on my shoulder. Great song, but it was attempting to water down rock and roll. Rock and roll had to go. That's it. Rock and roll had to go. There was no other option. It had to go. So the religious right was starting to mount their horses. They were starting to grab pitchforks and light the torches and mount the horses, and they were ready to ride. And so another thing about Elvis Presley is that he not only blew down the door and opened the way for black music, which I didn't like that because that was, whoa, oh, and it's got drums in it. Whoa, they just flipped. He was introducing sex. Now, I've read from an autobiography that, I read from an autobiography, I don't know if it's true or not, but Elvis had his guitar and he had a string that went under his shirt and down his pants to a empty toilet roll. And so when he'd lean back with the string, it would pull the toilet roll up. And the story is, now I don't know, you'll have to find out if this is true or not. Ed Sullivan said, "You son of a," So the next time Elvis was on, Ed Sullivan said, "No, you're only getting filmed from the waist up because you're a deviant." So let's talk turkey. Let's really spell it out. Elvis got all the girls sexually aroused. Okay, he got all the girls sexually aroused, and the way he look at the song "Heartbreak Hotel." Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. That's burlesque music. That's strip music. And then he'd be, you do. And look at Hound Dog. Oh my goodness, Hound Dog. Oh my goodness. He'd sing the song. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, just crying all day. He juiced up, revved up an old black song by, what's her name? Big Mama Thornton, I think it was. And so that wasn't bad enough. He was rubbing it in with sexual overtones, And then all of a sudden it stops. I forget, I think it was Milton Berle's show. I'm not sure. Anyways, it stops. And then he starts, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Wow, it was pure sexual experimentation with the public. That's when he really started getting famous. So he was turning the young girls on. The teen girls were getting turned on. It wasn't just listening to, I mean, they weren't getting sexually aroused with, Tutti Frutti, oh, Rudy, and this was a really good looking, handsome white guy that girls would just love. Uh, Tutti Frutti. Well, he's not a sex symbol, is he? I mean, and so all attention was on Elvis. The girls loved him. And then he would lie on the floor and just kind of like he was trying to, do something. So he was now a sex idol for the young corrupted teens. So he was demoralizing society, and that's what he was placed for because uh, the deep state or the Satanists wanted to bring down the morality of all the teens, and they were going to introduce drug, sex, rock and roll. So Elvis introduced the sex. The Beatles came along and introduced drugs. They had it made. They had it made. Because teens now were going, well, John Lennon's taking LSD. I'm going to try it myself. Very influenced. And so basically what Elvis started was a sexual revolution, continued on by Madonna. Now, was he bad boy? No, that's just the way he felt music. That's what he was expressing the music within. I see no harm in that, and they knew that, and they exploited him. They kept him in the dark, and they exploited him. So there he is, and he's a hillbilly Elvis. I mean, this guy is on fire. Comes out on stage, well, get out of the kitchen and round those. It's like, what? What? And he's got that greased hair and the sideburns, and he looks like he's going to pull a knife out. At any moment, he's going to pull a knife out. And this is not acceptable by the religious right, who are losing their daughters to this new sex idol. I mean, let's face it, it was just pure sex. You know, um, Unbelievable. And the Beatles carried a bit of that sexualness on too. Apparently, this is gross. This is a little gross, but the guards at all the Beatle concerts used to complain that while standing guard during a concert, there would be, quote, rivers of urine pouring down the stairs. So, anyways, you can clearly see the young girls were affected, okay? And they were passing out and being carried off and wake up. They couldn't afford Epsom salt. Sorry. So he had to be stopped. So Colonel Tom Parker, who would do anything for $1, he'd do anything for $1. Um, I'm sure this is the way I see it. He was approached by the Satanists. No, sorry, I got that really reversed. He was approached by the religious right, the God-fearing people, and told, you got to do something about Elvis, so your boy. I'm making money. I'm making 50% of everything he owns. Really? You want a bag of money or a gun to your head? Make up your mind. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what happens is that Colonel Tom Parker starts pressuring Elvis. Well, you got to join the army, boy. And Elvis is going, I think this was about 1956. Elvis is going, I'm at the height of my career. Are you friggin' nuts? But apparently, the colonel could be very hypnotic, and he could get people to do what they wanted. And so Elvis decided, yeah, okay, I'm going to enlist in the army, go overseas to Germany, and he was there for 2 years. Put an end to his career. Took him out of the spotlight, so all the girls could calm down. Go back to Chopin, go back to Beethoven, just forget that. Pat Boone is very intelligent, and Perry Como, oh wow, hot diggity, dug diggity, what you do to me. They're not going to fall over and faint over that music. That was safe music. That was very, very safe and religious right compliant music. Now, I found something and my computer, and I lost it, but it was an article about how Elvis, while in the barracks in Germany, losing popularity at the height of his career, he was in his barracks when a bomb suddenly went off. Uh, he had a head injury and he had to go to the hospital. And I think when he was at the hospital, he was cloned, secretly cloned, because they were going to put an end to him. And what happens? Just look at what happens. He comes back from Germany. He can no longer sing the old songs. The old songs where he sounded like he had his finger in an electric socket. You know, he's singing, "Oh, I wish I was in the land of cotton, road times there." Very low range. Well, not very low range. Well, yeah, he did not have the 8 octaves that the original Elvis had. He couldn't go. He couldn't hit it up high. He couldn't come out. Well, get out. He couldn't do that. Well, get out of the kitchen and watch us. Now listen to 1969. Is it his comeback? And he tries to sing the old songs, Lottie Lottie, Lottie Lottie. It was more like Lottie Lottie. He's just yelling. He's yelling. You ain't never had. His voice is radically different, and this is what you get with clones. Clones look alike, not exactly alike, but they look fairly similar, but they're different. Like Paul McCartney was cloned, and Paul McCartney had a very round head, and now is a long face. And even John Lennon mentioned it in The Walrus. Baby, what is it? I forget. Anyways, you let your hair. No, you let your face grow long. I am the walrus. Doo-doo-doo-doo. And so this is why John Lennon says, "Oh, Paul was the walrus," because that's the walrus speaking. You let your, or I mean, being referred to. Oh, thank you, doctor. You let your face grow long. I am the walrus. Who's talking? I am the walrus. It was all rigged. It was all rigged. So, anyways, the voice will change. You'll see that with Robert Plant. Suddenly, his voice. He injured his voice. It blew out. I think I was at the concert. It blew out, and he sang differently, total different. Instead of "You shook me all night long," it was more like very light. "'Cause you do rock and roll, baby." Hold on, no, that was the original. I was sorry, but trying to think of a good song. I can't really think. So, anyways, I thought, okay, is it legit? No, Robert Plant had a cleft, a real big indented cleft in his chin that disappears and vanishes, then returns, and then disappears. You go through all the photos online, and you'll see it appearing there. Well, that's because he wanted to look cool, and so he had a plastic cleft made, and he pasted it on. See, people come up with these stupid, childish, just stupid, idiotic, and you're supposed to go, "Oh, that makes sense. I better rethink it." So, anyways, they're physically different. They're just, you might have one guy with a mole, but on the clone, the mole's not there, or just little slight changes. Elvis was pretty exact, about as close as you can get. I'm going to go through all the pictures of Elvis and see if I notice any dissimilarities. And then Paul McCartney, it's case closed. He was cloned. I mean, there's no question about it. I don't want to get into it, but it's very obvious. And my research assistant, my partner in research, said, you better check out Marilyn Monroe. She was cloned. There's some obvious differences. So I got to check that out too, because I have no life. So Elvis's voice was very low, even in his talking voice. Well, thank you very much. He had a very original Elvis, boy Elvis, had a higher pitch, much higher pitch singing, had a totally different style, could reach 8 octaves. This one, very flat range, no range at all. And then he'd raise his voice slightly. You know, when he raises his voice, a really good example of that. And it's very good. He's a very good singer. Wow. Was that puppet song? What's that puppet song? Puppet on a String. He raises his voice a little, but it's not the range Elvis had. Well, get out of the kitchen and around. You know, it didn't have that at all. Or Blue Moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. No, it's more like Blue Moon of Kentucky. He was from the lungs. The old Elvis, the kid Elvis, hillbilly Elvis, was from the throat. Well, and I will play you the difference, and you can hear it yourself. I'm expecting a phone call, so I hope it doesn't interrupt. Here, you all know this song, right? Ho, ho. Now it goes up a little. Oh. Okay, you got that? Try to remember this. Keys not very high. Okay, so now I'll pause for a second and get the other one going. Now, here is the original Elvis. There's not many years. Your voice deepens with age, but it's not going to change. I've been singing for years in bars and stuff, and I'm an expert on Elvis's voice because I used to imitate some of his songs. The voice gets deeper, but with age, but not like that. It's a wide. Now, remember the lung. If you want my love, you go up a little bit. Treat me nice. Now listen to the difference here. Throat. Scratch my back and run the old pretty fingers through my hair. You know I'll be your slave if you ask me to. But if you don't behave, I'll walk right out on you. If you want my love, then take my advice. Treat me nice. See the difference? You see the difference? You should play, just to mention it, Paul McCartney's stuff. Play A Taste of Honey, tasty, much sweeter than wine. And then compare that to, maybe I'm amazed at the way you wish me all the time. Way higher. Way big difference. The old McCartney, I'll just throw this in quickly. The old McCartney had a low, raspy voice and could not hit high notes. You can hear him cracking a bit when he hits the high notes on records too. The new McCartney's voice, he could right up the scale. He had a higher pitch, smooth as glass. and could reach any higher. It's the same thing with Pink. Pink used to have a very gravelly voice, and she couldn't go up very high. She knew I really listened to a lot of Pink. She couldn't go up very high, but the new Pink could just hit the ceiling with the notes and was smooth. So something fishy's going on there, boy. Let's check it out. That's what you should do. If you're bored and you got nothing to do, check it out. Check it out. So, anyways, Elvis, rock and roll has got to go. So, what do? If you destroy rock and roll, you're just cutting the tail off the dog. You want Elvis, the head of rock and roll, the inspiration, the teenage sex symbol. You want him gone. And so, anyways, he comes back and he can't sing these songs anymore. And now he's become the new Elvis Pat Boone, Uh, oh, I wish I was in the land of... None of this. Well, none of that. That's gone. So the old rebellious hillbilly Elvis, gone forever. Hope I didn't wake up the dog there. Gone forever. Now he's compliant. Now he's and he gets on stage. Does he get on stage like he used to with his outfits? No. He loved the fashion. He loved his clothing and very distinctive. But now he's wearing a stupid outfit, embarrassing. The white Elvis outfit, the jumpsuit with the eagle. Now he's not rebellious anymore. Now he's God bless America. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I've studied the personality of Elvis. I've gone through millions of interviews. He would never go for that idea whatsoever. He would not wear some kind of jumpsuit like that. It just would not. And with an American eagle, he would rather come on stage on a motorbike. He'd rather just come on stage and hoop and howl. He couldn't do that. Just listen to the comeback special. He tries to sing Lottie Dottie, Lottie Dottie, Lottie. Yeah. I mean, it's just la-di, la-di. It's way higher. It's a way higher pitch with the original Elvis. So he comes back and he's different. He's more compliant and he's more conservative. And the old people love him now. And now he's singing at Vegas. He swore he crashed in Vegas. Young Elvis, he crashed. They didn't like him. It was all these old fogies going, "Oh, weird, get me out of here." And probably the religious right. And he flopped. And then, and compare flip, flop, fly, don't care if I die. Where to? Look away. So he flopped in Vegas and he swore that he was never going to return to Vegas ever. And guess what? He gets in a jumpsuit. Now he's so conformed. Now he's so conservative. There's no more threat. He's not the rockabilly hillbilly. I mean, he's no more threat. The music's all watered down. It's all Pat Boone music. It's all Perry Como. Boom, what you do to me? And the way he moved on stage, Elvis, you ain't nothing, the way he go crazy, that's gone. Now he's using karate chops. And his personality was different too. So I just immediately think of a clone. The man was cloned. His voice is totally different. If you compare the new stuff, just remember, he doesn't have much range on the new stuff, but he has to do the operatic, ho ho, anybody can do that. That's no big deal. But it's something that Hillbilly Elvis never did. He never, oh, how great thou art. You know, so, and they changed his. They turned him into a Christian boy, a young, shy Christian boy. That was his. That was his image. Now, he wasn't the rebellious teenager. Now, wearing the slick back hair. Now it was more conservative, the hair, and it was all neat and tight. You know, it was, the old Elvis was just, it'd be hanging in his face, and I don't know. People aren't very observant, that's for sure. So I believe he was cloned. I believe it was after the explosion. I can't find it on the internet anymore. The internet has been absolutely scrubbed clean. YouTube, Google, scrubbed clean. And they put up blocks. Like I wanted to look up Foo Fighters one day, the real Foo Fighters from World War II. I couldn't get any information. It was all the band Foo Fighters, Foo Fighters, Foo Fighters. And I noticed that with a lot of key subjects, key words that were important for my research, I wouldn't be able to find anymore because some band named themselves or there was a movie or all that and they got shoved to the back page and very hard to find. You will not find that they were trying to kill him. They were trying to take him out. They were they were trying to get rid of him once and for all. But then it could have been a different faction within the religious right, or they could have changed their plan or whatever. One wanted him dead, and one plan wanted him cloned. And so, look at Elvis wearing that gold suit, eh? Oh, that was cool. Elvis was cool. Not like this jumpsuit. Well, a hunker burning love. A hunker burning love. You know, and that voice that he had was referred to as the chicken voice, where he just, well, get out of the kitchen and rattle. Then all the religious right freak out. Hide the daughters. Hide the daughters. Close their eyes. Close their eyes. They're going to see them. You know, this. And then people laugh at that today. They'll laugh at what I say because we've we've all been demoralized. We've been all demoralized. So we don't think it's a big deal. Back then, in a very highly conservative society run by the churches, for him to come out with that black music, wait, whoa, wow, that was unacceptable. You know, like I say, now all the black stars started coming in on television and the radio and boom tutti frutti. Little Richard must have just shocked them, but he wasn't as much a threat as Elvis because Little Richard wasn't sexy, wasn't that good looking. He was black, and I'm sure all the kids had the lectures. You know, all black people, they're musical. You know, but then to see Elvis, a super handsome, good looking guy, I it's fine. I'm fine. You know, no, I'm not. You know what? No. So, yeah, he's a good looking kid. Uh, and so it was a threat because the girls were going nuts. They were getting nuts. They were getting sexually frustrated. And so I'm so frustrated. Well, let's talk turkey now. A lot of girls probably went to their boyfriends and, had illegitimate children and, you know. So never underestimate the power of psyops with the Satanists. Uh, never underestimate the lengths that they will go through to change. All our culture has been constructed by them. No thought we've ever thought was our own. We are controlled. No decision was ever decided by us. Um, it's all subliminals, Mockingbird, psyops. What's that? Stockholm syndrome programming. It's endless. Okay, so we don't have. We're controlled. We're completely controlled. Well, I have God's given me the freedom of choice. Whoa, you got the freedom of choice like a rat in a maze has freedom of choice. Oh, you can turn left. You're not going to go anywhere. It's blocked. Do you have the freedom of choice to go right through? No, no, no. You've been blocked. You've been programmed to go to the right. Go to the right. Okay. You know, we're totally under incredible mind control. It's the outer limits. Please do not adjust your set. We control the vertical, the horizontal. You know, they control every aspect of our reality. They are in full control because people don't fight back. They go, oh, well, government knows best. Well, the government of Canada under Trudeau has now said you can cadiddle your pets. Here, little doggy. But they know what's best. Nobody really freaked out. They just kind of, oh, okay. We trust government. God bless Canada. You know, and same with America. All your culture was carefully orchestrated, cultured, and now we have cancer culture. Just absolute no morality left anymore. There's no values, and everything is rock and roll. You know, because rock and roll represents sex. That's what the blacks used to call it, rock and roll, because that's what you do in the back of a car. It's all sexualized, and it's even more sexual. And then Madonna fits into the agenda, eh? Well, we had Elvis. Let's get Madonna out, and she's the one that's very, very sexual and plugging sex, and you know. But she's talented, a little talented too. Some of her songs were good. I doubt if she ever wrote one of them. But you know, some of them are good songs. She's not a bad singer. I heard somebody say she sounds like a chipmunk, but that adds to the flavor of the song, eh? So we're controlled. Every aspect of our existence is controlled. No choice you ever have made has been your own. No choice you ever made was your own. That's Westworld, that TV series. You ought to see that. Kind of pornographic and vulgar language, but if you're one of those who just don't care about that, this is a show to see. Get some copies of it, and you're going to learn something about the non-reality of this world that I constantly talk about. Reality is a con job, okay? So Elvis Presley was incredibly multi-talented, and they used it. They exploited him, you know. Hey, Ed, yeah, oh yeah, you know, I want this guy on your show. Oh, okay, you know, and then the devaluing of music began, and it started to hit new heights. And now there is no music. There is no '60s, '70s music anymore. It was like the greatest music. You can just get rid of Chopin and Mozart, Beethoven, and all of them because they don't compare to the '60s music and the '60s and '70s music. Some of the greatest music ever. you know, and the Beatles, they brought in the drugs, eh? They brought into the drugs to the youth to influence the youth. They may have made their own choices, but they were steered, and you know, and they got the big media eyeball on them and made sure everybody knew all about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and all that. And maybe he did get it from his son, you know, that drawing he made of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, short for LSD, or he could have wrote the song. Uh, um, with the intention of having an anagram for LSD. Uh, I don't know. It's all mixed up. It's layers within layers within layers, and right now, people don't have a clue. They don't have a clue at how this society actually really operates and who is actually really in control. And yeah, I better not say, I better not add detail to that because this is going to be on YouTube. This is going to be a rare moment. I want to put this out on YouTube so that everybody knows if they want to continue watching me. Um, Head to my backups, which are in the links in the description box. YouTube is a little behind, so I would go to BitChute. And I think Patreon's got all of my videos. So yeah, the complete list, you know. Uh, YouTube, there's been about 4, I think, that I haven't been able to upload because they had problems. So Elvis, there were attempts on his life. Why were there attempts on his life? Because they found him disgusting, demoralizing. They probably referred to him as Satan, you know, and oh, you had tons and tons of pastors preaching against rock and roll music because that was voodoo jungle music. You know, it all comes from Delta blues, the Delta blues by from the black people. You can thank the black people for the most fantastic music ever put out in the public all through the 60s and 70s. You can thank them. You can thank them. So don't try to diss them and make them look bad and evil and do voodoo music, and all that bad influence on the kids and you. My daughter got pregnant because of Elvis Presley and his satanic influence. Rock and roll has got to go. Yeah, and there was a real push against rock and roll. But then the Beatles came, and I wouldn't say the rock and roll, but they kept people mildly interested. I think they were the number one pop band ever. They were the king of pops, you know. And then you know you got it's endless. You've got Britney Spears, good little girl. She's so good, and then she gets older and she starts getting sleazy and morally loose. And even Michael Jackson, he's grabbing his crotch. You like that, babe? Hey, babes! I mean, it's all to bring. It's all orchestrated. Now, geez, I don't know about this video now because YouTube's gonna go, what? What? What did you say? Huh? Meow, meow. Even that'll. Oh well, if it goes down for good, I like to keep it open because I want the archives to remain there. But if not, hasta la vista, baby. So I guess I got everything I wanted to say because it's almost an hour and it always takes about an hour. But remember, the singing is. Hear how high pitched? He had 8 octaves. He sang in 8 octaves. Fat Elvis, nothing. That's why there's so many good Elvis impersonators. I used to impersonate Elvis because his voice is no range. and it's not difficult at all. But you hear these guys do the hillbilly Elvis, and they have a lot of problems. They have a lot of it. They can't hit those high notes. It's the easiest thing to do. In the time, look away, moo. You know what I mean? And then he had that operatic. Anybody can do that. Uh, it's now or never. You just have to push the lungs. Hillbilly Elvis never used his lungs. It was his throat voice. And then I don't want a 12-leaf clover. I don't want no horseshoe. Just raise the voice a little bit, not too much. Settle down, Vegas Elvis. Settle down. And it's very easy to sing at that range because there's no real range. People argue with me now. This is the funny part. They'll just fight me tooth and nail. Elvis made me happy. Ah! You know, I don't know. I love Elvis, love his music. I used to do it in the bars. I used to get standing room only. I love Elvis. I love his music. I love rock and roll. Let's reverse that film. Let's put rock and roll back. I mean, well, rock and roll doesn't really exist anymore. It's just all boom, up your friggin', you know, shoving baseball bats up the orifices of women. Wow, that really gets everybody happy. If you're happy and you know it, slap your face. Ow, it's ringing. So, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm ready to, I observe and I don't look away and I don't go, no, I'm going kind of nutty. I just see it for what it is, and that's cloning. And cloning is really starting to get in the forefront because all these actors and actresses and singers and all that. Oh, and Pink, I mean, she's evil. She's evil. She's a man. But, not that there's anything wrong with that, YouTube. No, there's nothing wrong. Um, I mean, it's just caving in. It's a cancer culture. I'll probably get dinged now for cancer culture. I don't know. So I think this may be the last one. I think I may be scrubbed now from YouTube for saying that phrase. Uh, so check it out. Follow me on YouTube. Not YouTube. Shut your mouth, boy. Follow me on BitChute and Huge and Rumble because I'll be there. I'll be there. But I'm not gonna. Maybe the odd time I'll put something on YouTube. I'm very nervous about this one. Very nervous about this one. I think it's gonna go. This channel is gonna go down. So thank you very much, and have a good day. You know what I mean?